Hey guys, welcome back. Handlers provide a basic event system that can be used to respond to changes made by your playbook. Notify actions can be triggered at the end of each block of task in the play and will be triggered only once if it is triggered by multiple tasks. For example, let's say your playbook changes the SSH config on a remote machine. Now you will use notify and handler mechanism and have two tasks in your playbook. The first task will change the SSH config and notify the second task, and the second task will then restart the SSH service. What would happen is the second task will only be called if the first task succeeds. And if you have multiple tasks, the handler will only be called once. So for example, you have an Apache server and you're changing configs through multiple tasks. So you're changing, let's say, 4 different files and you have 4 different tasks for those, and each task calls a single handler to restart the Apache service. Then even though it's being called by 4 different tasks, the service will only be restarted once. Now let's head back to the lab system. Now on the master system, first I want to show you that we have our SSH file in etc/ssh. Now here, let's change the SSH config file, and in this file, in the top, I will say this has been edited using Ansible, and let's save this file now. Now we've got a custom SSH file now. If we do a grep, so we can say this is a custom SSH file with our changes. Now what we are going to use is we're going to use the template module to copy this template SSH file onto the remote machine, and then we will restart the SSH service using notify mechanism. Now under Ansible, let's create a new playbook and let's call it handler example.yaml. Now here, let's start the playbook using 3 dashes and then hosts, and we want to run this playbook against the dev environment. Now next thing we need to do is we need to say become yes, and then tasks, name, and this is our first task which we will utilize to change the SSH config. So we will say deploy custom SSH config on remote. Now at the same level as name, we will say template, which is the name of the module. Now let's head to the help section for template module. Now in the help file, you can see that template is used to template a file out to the remote server, and templates are processed by Jinja 2 templating language. And here are the parameters. Attributes will be used to specify the attributes of the file or directory. We can use backup yes to create a backup of the file. Dest will be the location to render the template, which is the location where we'll like to copy our file. Force yes will replace the remote file when the contents are different than the source. We can also specify a mode. So this would be equivalent of chmod. We can have a new line sequence, output encoding. We can also specify an owner of the file, some SC configurations. SRC will be the location of the template on the Ansible controller. Validate is the validation command that we like to run, and if we want to specify some variables. Now this is an example of how we can use the template module. So template, SRC will specify the source, dest will specify the destination on the remote machine, owner will be specify the owner of the file on the remote machine, group will specify the group of the file, and mode will specify the mode or permissions of that file on the remote machine. So let's do that. Now as you can see that the SSH config is in /etc/ssh and the file name is ssh_config. So in the template module, under parameters, we will specify SRC to specify the source, and now we have to give the path of the source. So /etc/ssh_config. Now we need to specify destination, and in our case both source and the destination are same, so we will just copy and paste it. Just remember, source is the source of the file on Ansible controller, and destination is the location where you want to place the file on the remote machine. Now after this, what we need to do is, because we've changed the SSH config, we want to restart the SSH service. So we will specify notify, and under notify we will give a notification to restart SSH. Now this notification will be handled by a handler. So we will say handlers to specify our handlers, and the handlers at the same level as the tasks. Under handlers, at the next level we will specify name and then the name of the handler. This has to be similar to what we notified. So restart SSH. Now next we need to specify the service module, and name of the service that we need to restart. In our case it's SSH, and state will be restarted. Now we can end this playbook and save it. To run this playbook, we just need to specify playbook name, and let's run it. So looks like there is a syntax error. Now let's have a look. Now the reason we have an error is that notify, because notify is part of the template task, it has to be at the same level as template and not name. Sorry, at the same level as the task, not before that. So we had it like this, which means it was at a different level, and therefore we had that issue. You will see these sort of problems a lot when you're using Ansible, that you have to be very careful around the spaces that you give in your tasks. So let's save the file and let's run it again. And looks like it's running this time, which is good. Now looks like this is finished, and we can see changed is equal to 2 because we had two tasks, one for deploying the new SSH config and the other as a handler, which was ran here for restart SSH. Now let's head back to the dev system to check if the new file was deployed. Now in the dev system, let's first clear out of here and let's do a cat on /etc/ssh and SSH config. Let's go up, and as you can see, this is the file that we deployed from our Ansible controller. So this is how you can use handlers to configure an event system in your playbooks. With this, we've come to the end of this lecture. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.